I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
'22 BMW Alpina B8.
Grand Coupe with launch control. Oh boy. Oh my God. It friggin' jumped.
Keep going, keep going.
Oh yeah, we're going so fast, Yuri. Okay, holy crap.
Horsepower and torque.
612 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque from a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8.
All right, so that launch,
Holy crap.
very, very aggressive. I didn't go full stiff neck, so I did hit my head against the back.
Yeah, I expected it and it still kind of surprised me because the front feels like it's jumping.
That's like M8 fast.
Yeah, well, this is kind of an NM8, just a little bit different. If you're shopping for a new BMW, click the TrueCar link in the top right corner to get discounted price offers.
Okay, so let's get into what this Alpina is.
Okay, so Alpina is not owned by BMW. Alpina is their own manufacturer that takes BMW cars off the assembly line and then manufactures the rest of it themselves.
But you can configure it from the BMW website.
Yes, and you order it through BMW. It's a very interesting partnership that they've had for a very long time.
And the B8 is a Grand Coupe. You cannot get this in a regular coupe of an 8.
That's right. You'd have to get a regular BMW. And we are at Toronto Motorsports Park in Cayuga today. It's a pretty nice day for this car. This car is definitely not meant for the racetrack, so we're not going to prioritize that, but it allows us to push the car safely.
It allows us to get to Autobahn speeds, which this thing is pretty much meant for.
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, is it ever smooth at those speeds.
Oh God, yeah. So I'm gonna go through Cliche Slide Corner. I'm not really gonna try and slide it, but I'm just gonna take it really quick. And let's see, back end, just grip. This is all-wheel drive, and it really feels like that. So
and even earlier in the rain, it was very, very locked in.
And before we head out onto the road where this belongs, we're gonna hit up Continental Corner. Ooh, that felt good.
And what would be the Continental recommended tire for these 20-spoke, 21-inch perfect Alpina wheels?
That would be the Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus, which is Continental's new premium ultra high performance all-season tire.
So moving on to the road, the first thing I want to talk about is briefly the looks of this.
Okay, starting with the wheels.
They're the perfect Alpina wheels. We just mentioned the Continental recommended tire for them.
Yeah, these are forged wheels, so they are lightweight. They're perfect. Like Alpina wheels, they nailed them back then and they still look very appropriate right now.
And you can get them in darker colors, but I would advise not getting them in darker colors because I didn't like the darker ones on the XB7.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, shout out Russia, Poland, and Ukraine for watching the heck out of our XB7 versus Maybach video.
Yes, thank you guys. We are Polish and Ukrainian. And
Dziękuję, spasiba.
Dziękuję bardzo.
And then color-wise, we've got this Alpina green metallic.
It is a stunning color.
There's also a blue Alpina metallic, and then the rest of them are not the special Alpina colors. I feel like you need to either get green or blue, but I feel like the blue's a little played out. The green is perfect.
Yeah, the blue's still good, but now seeing this green in person for the first time ever, oh my God, this is nice paint in person.
And sorry that it's a little overcast and not popping, but we'll try to get some popping photos. And then before we talk about the rest of the outside looks, if you open the door, quick glance at this interior, what would you describe this color?
I don't even know. This is kind of peanut butter-ish, peanut butter and white.
I love the look of this. It just looks so fancy, and especially when you have the green lights on inside and the interior lighting to match the outside, and then when you open the door, the little door sill that says Alpina is blue. It's a very nice overall mix.
Yeah, so back to the outside, I really like how this looks. I wasn't really a fan of the Grand Coupe, but seeing it in this color with these wheels and the Alpina spec, I really like what they did.
Alpina at the front, I think it looks very nice. I want to see it even bigger. If they could just make that bigger every single year, that would be cool.
They're already doing that with the grille, so I'm sure the lettering is next.
Okay, we got chrome up there.
Yeah, do you like it?
Chrome fits this car perfectly fine.
It actually does. And then we got the same headlights as we do on the 8 Series. Overall, pretty decent from the front end.
And then if we move on to our side view, pretty nice BMW body lines, very good reflections. It is blacked out trim along here, which is nice.
And moving around to the back, we do have a little bit of an extra spoiler, and I think it does make a difference on this car.
It adds a lot, but I would have liked to see a full new trunk lid with like even more, one piece. That would would feel a little more premium to me.
But that would cost quite a bit more. But yeah, it would look good. And then we got some pretty decent looking taillights.
Normal taillights. And then if we go down to the bottom,
we have Alpina exhausts, which look amazing. They are circular, they fit the body really well, and it's a unique Alpina system, so it sounds a little bit different. We should probably take a listen.
To the outside.
got a really smooth tone from the outside, a little bit classier than what you'd get on like an M version of anything. There's no like crackles really, like it's tiny.
Minimal backfires and stuff.
And then it's also valved, so you can put it in cover mode, and then it quiets right the hell down.
And if you look at our infotainment and spin around our awesome thing, we do have a green model there, but if you look at the exhaust tips, it's just a regular 8.
Come on, BMW. I mean, Alpina.
And then at the very back, we do have this kind of body kit molded around the very bottom, and I think that really finishes off the looks and makes it look so much better than a regular 8.
And that's exactly where I think that the exhaust just makes it look so much better because it's like molded in basically. Like it's awesome.
That little bit of body kit there. And then we've got the Alpina and the B8 on the back. It's
special enough, and it differentiates it enough from the regular 8 Series Grand Coupe and just the regular 8 Series.
My only complaint with the looks is that we don't have air suspension, so we can't dump it when we park like that XB7, which was like...
Yeah, I do totally agree with that, but we do have iBox springs on this, which is really interesting because you get them from the factory. So the suspension on this is amazing. We do have Comfort and Comfort Plus, and then we have Sport and Sport Plus. I love the drive modes in Alpinas. Like, I understand that. It's so good. It's really me.
It would be cool though if it had like the M buttons, but they were Alpina, but like blue ones that you could push on the steering wheel.
Yeah, but then like this doesn't even have like the gauge customization like the M's. Like I like this. It's less confusing than an M.
But a cool Alpina thing with the gauges that we do have, if you put it into Sport, all of a sudden your tack has green on it, so...
I'm gonna make more green, Yuri. Oh my God. Okay, so the shifts are really smooth. It's a ZF 8-speed auto, but it has been changed from the regular one where it's just made to be even smoother, and it is a noticeable difference. I was driving in Sport there, but if I was to put this into drive, it's even smoother, so it's not gonna downshift as much. Let's see that now. A little bit smoother between the transition there.
I get that face melting feeling, like, you know when someone does 3 Tesla launch controls in a row and you're just like, okay, I need to take a break?
Yeah.
You don't get that on a launch, well, you get that in a launch, but like on just pulls, you get that feeling here.
Yeah, like your neck actually hurts in this car. Like 600 horsepower in this thing it's quite a bit. It's the same engine that you'd get in the XB7, but this is a smaller vehicle.
Yeah, don't you feel like if you had to get a personal car that you thought was fast for all around stuff, like you kind of need at least 600 horse, like I mean, like, to be really happy, to be truly satisfied, you need at least 600 horsepower.
I also don't really want to go to jail with my
No,
daily
but
driver.
I mean, you want to have a car that has that much, so if you ever needed to use it, like...
I would really like a Hellcat in my life.
But because that's like at least 600, and you know when you floor, you get that good... I feel like that's the 2022 sweet spot of power.
We'll see what my Fox body ends up with, whether I put nitrous on it or not.
God, not going to feel like this.
Well, we'll see. No, it won't.
And then to end off looks again real quick, this or a comparable Maybach. I don't think they have one, really.
No, they don't. There's no like Grand Coupe.
Okay, this
it would have to be the S-Class.
S-Class. This or an S-Class, because technically a B7 would go against, but then Maybach isn't actually perfectly lined up with Alpina anyways.
No.
But which one would you like the looks of more?
I'd go with the Maybach. It's a Maybach.
For sedans, I think I would go Alpina, but SUV, I did like the Maybach one.
Yuri, this is a Grand Coupe.
It's still a sedan. Oh, yeah. Which means we don't have frames on our windows.
Yeah, exactly. So if I was to open the door right now, which I'm not going to do, the powertrain is definitely ridiculous. Like, this is definitely an Autobahn cruiser, and you don't feel like you're going the speed indicated by your speedometer ever.
Just don't look at that.
Okay, we got to address this because...
We've made the sensor go off this one here like 8 times.
Just like this, it just keeps beeping at us.
This thing right here, you can put some tape there if you didn't like it.
You might have to, because... Anyways, back to the suspension. I think it's one of the most comfortable suspensions without being air suspension. I think they did a really good job by keeping it to coil springs.
Move your freaking hand out of the way. You're gonna.
No way. I'm trying to trigger it on purpose now. Trying to trigger the car.
So explain to me more about the driving feel.
The first thing that I noticed while driving it are these shift buttons, because this is an Alpina thing. You got your plus and your minus, and they are buttons. And I don't like them, but it's an Alpina heritage thing.
It's a good way to stop you from trying to race this with paddles.
Yeah. So I am not inclined to use the paddles or the buttons at all, but let's get you into the driver's seat to see if you're inclined.
I'm not going to be, but I want to do Autobahn stuff.
Yuri, lift the front wheels for me. Oh! Oh my God. This is nuts.
I gotta merge onto the Autobahn.
I think you just passed a Bugatti.
Wait, and the brakes are nuts too?
Yeah, they are Brembos and they look really nice.
And what helps us get around these turns here?
We have 4-wheel steering actually. So it turns the wheels the same way at higher speeds and opposite way at lower speeds. So it's much more maneuverable in parking lots as well.
And you can definitely feel it around track. And do I have to pay a subscription to use my rear wheel steering?
Not at this time, Yuri.
No, that's what Mercedes is doing. They're bringing that up. And you know why they're picking such a dumb thing, in my opinion?
Why is that?
It's because people aren't going to get mad because it's rear wheel steering. I don't care. And then in 2 years, they're going to introduce it for other stuff and be like, well, you guys didn't complain about it for the last 2 years.
Well, BMW did try it with CarPlay, and then people were like, nah, and BMW got rid of it. So shout out BMW for that. But yeah, we'll see.
Looks like I'm Team BMW because of that.
Yeah, well, there's no downloadable or removable rear wheel steering yet, so we'll see about that.
And then through the turns at Cayuga, not that you would ever bring your car here unless you want to do some
this car.
You know what though, if you want to just dummy Hellcats, they did a Supercars versus Hellcats day at the track recently.
Yep.
They should just do B8 versus everything at the track.
This would dummy a lot of cars.
Yeah, anyways, this is super fast on track. Back onto the road, speaking of subscriptions and downloads, we have some apps in here. We have the Dashcam Recorder app that I set up. It is the best. I love it in every single BMW.
Yeah.
And I've got it programmed to my number 7. So if I did get into an accident, it would film 20 seconds before and 20 seconds after. And if I did see something crazy on the street happen, I can click 7, click start recording, and it'll already record 20 seconds from before.
It's a really good feature and it's well implemented too.
And it's so much better than like Mercedes or Tesla where you have to plug in a USB.
Yep.
But the only bad thing about that is say you got into an accident and they took your car to like a tow yard where you couldn't get access to it, you know, things kind of happen, cars get lost.
Yep.
If you were still like able to move in a Mercedes or a Tesla, you could probably pull out that USB key, bring it with you, where you'd have to go recover this and you don't know if the tow truck driver maybe deleted it or something or took the footage to hold it hostage. And then other cool apps that this has, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and we can set up our Apple CarPlay to this 8 button.
And it is wireless.
Which is very good if you're never sharing the car. It's really convenient and like hooks up right away when you get in.
Yeah, and I think Yuri and I actually agree that this is probably the best infotainment in the business now.
Yes.
It's so good. Like everything about it is very functional.
This is the best complicated one where I think Mazda has the best super simplified one.
Okay.
Anything with a rotary wheel is usually good. And speaking of the rotary wheel and the rest of this interior, it's Alpina'd out and we have a crystal shifter.
Yeah, I really like all that. The only thing I don't like is this kind of not carbon fiber pattern. It's almost like this metal tiger pattern.
It's wood, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's like metal wood.
It's fake black and white wood.
Yeah. I don't like that, but whatever.
They ran out of ink, color ink.
And then we got this nice Alpina badge down here. Really like this because there's pretty minimal gloss black. We do have it up on the dash. Other than that, there's actually none.
And then our steering wheel, it's got the blue and the green stitching and the Alpina logo in the middle, which is like the best.
Which matches the gauges as well, same as other BMWs except Alpina'd out.
And then as for the interior materials and color, I think it's a great setup. Again, I mentioned that earlier, but this is so different than everything else.
Yeah, like this color combo with these two colors and the way that it's done, like the layers, it's amazing.
But you know what's kind of unfortunate?
What's that?
Turn on my massage seat.
Unfortunately, the vehicle is not equipped with that function.
But the seats are pretty comfortable.
They are very comfortable. You can actually adjust your bolstering and stuff like that. We don't have massages, but the seats themselves are great.
But when you move to the back seat, you do have room for your legs and everything. You are kind of low on headroom at 6'1.5".
Yeah, not the most comfortable for me just because of my head. Like I would not want to spend any time back there.
Yeah, it's not the best seat, and the posture thing is kind of weird.
But if you're a little bit shorter, you got peasant blockers and stuff back there, which is really nice. You can even have a rear peasant blocker as well.
But the perfect person to put in those back seats is your assistant.
Yes,
because they don't matter.
Well,
even if they're tall.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
You're paying them.
Just for the record, we don't have an assistant that we don't care about.
I'm tall, and I got to sit in the back of this $200,000 car.
Yeah, my boss isn't paying me very well, but I'm in this car. And you can also close or open all the shades in the back, and including the sunroof with one button back there.
And then we got double sunroof, which isn't as luxurious as like a full moonroof. And we don't have the cool LED lights in there, but I don't feel like you need that in every Alpina.
No, and then the seats back there are kind of just meant for 2 people, not exactly 5 people.
Well, it's a 100% a 4-seater.
Yes, but you can kind of straddle that if you really wanted to.
You could put like 100 clowns in there if you wanted to. And then we do have a really good amount of trunk room in the trunk, but the opening isn't the widest.
Yeah, because it's a Grand Coupe.
So we forgot the cup holder test. Some Starbucks fits perfectly fine because we're rich and we don't drink Timmy's in this. The visor, 3, 2, 1. It does not pass. But look how nice and luxurious it looks. And needless to say, the sound system in here is very good because this car is almost $200,000 Canadian. With everything out of the way, should we get to the price?
Let's get to the price. This one starts at $159,900
Canadian.
and this one is sitting at $176,650.
Which is kind of the same price as an M8, kind of the same price as an XB7, and probably a similar price to the Alpina B7, which was actually our first video to get a bunch of views, which was the first video somebody recognized me from. They're like, you're the guy from that BMW video.
Fun fact, we didn't even drive that car, we sat in the back.
Because we weren't allowed.
We were youngsters.
What's up, Raz?
Since we've already driven basically every version of the 8 Series now, I think I have made up my mind and this is my favorite version of it.
I would take this over an M8 as well, and I would advise everyone else to, because it is so much more special. But then this compared to the other ones, would you go XB7 over this?
I like a lot about the XB7, especially the air suspension, but I think I just want to endorse sedans over SUVs, so I'm gonna pick this.
I would go XB7 green with the lighter wheels over this, even though this lane keep cruise control stuff felt a little bit more centered and less sway than the XB7 did.
The spec that you said, I'm actually gonna say that would look better than this because I actually really like the XB7, but I'm still gonna say
car
this
life?
one. Yeah, I gotta say sedan life. And if you are shopping for a new BMW and you live in the United States, click the TrueCar link below. There's a discount when using the Straight Pipes link.
You can also shop for a used BMW using TrueCar. And if you live in Canada, there's a Car Help Canada link below.
So let us know in the comments below which one would you take?
This, any other of the 8 Series, or any other of the Alpinas.
We're back on the racetrack, just so you guys know. Oh my God.
I know, I'll take this.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Sorry.
Yeah.